And we're going to go ahead and begin our webinar today. This webinar is being recorded. Thank you for joining us today as we're kicking start our customer-led webinar, How Landoll Reduced Warranty Expenses from 5.9% to 0.45% while tripling their production. Very exciting. I am your facilitator, Jennifer Koh. I'm the marketing and sales department here at GR Technology. And with me today, I've also invited Joe Crow at RMB Solutions and Ted Martin at Landoll. So before we get started, participants will be muted during today's webinar. If you have any questions, once again, use the Q&A chat. My colleague Michael will be facilitating these during our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So our agenda today is outlined here. Together, Ted and Joe will speak on how manufacturers like yourself can effectively reduce warranty claims and costs, realize time savings, cost savings, improve accuracy, and enhance customer satisfaction on RMB's intuitive and easy-to-use platform. So to get us started here, for those who are new to GR Technology, we are a Plex Advanced partner and Oracle NetSuite and made-to-manage solutions provider. Collectively, our business has delivered 25 years of customer success with over 200 ERP implementation, re-implementation, migrations, and system optimizations. A few distinguishing solutions we provide include our system integration capabilities, our great platform, a suite of custom web mobile applications for quoting and project management solutions. They're available as standalone products or integrated solutions with your ERP cloud solutions such as Plex, Salesforce, and more. Without further ado, I'd love to take a moment here to also invite Pete and Joe from the R&B team to briefly introduce themselves as well.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm Pete. I'm the founder of RMB. We've been in business for 15 to 17 years now, and we saw a need in the software industry. I came from an ERP company, and we saw a need for a good after the point of sale software solution that would help manufacturers manage their business processes after they've sold and shipped their products. I usually ask someone, I say, if you have any responsibility at all for your product after you've shipped it, then we can support that business process. Well, these business processes typically include field service activities, third-party activities, which is the one we're talking about today, RMA and repair depot, customer service, vendor warranty support. These are all usually found, as well installation, rental activities. These are all found under the umbrella of the service department, typically for a manufacturing organization. And we bring a unique set of skills to the table because all of us at RMB have a background in managing these service departments. So we know these processes intimately. You know, we've all experienced the pain points ourselves. And so it really enabled us to connect with customers and be able to design software to solve the problems. It's robust software. It's very functional. And it has a good user experience. We're constantly innovating in all areas. We were one of the first software companies to truly introduce a multi-tenant cloud solution in this space. And we continue to be innovative on a regular basis. In addition to having the multi-tenant cloud solution, we automated weekly updates to customer test domains and production domains. You'll see some of this today, and I encourage you to ask any questions that you might have. This is all we do. We develop the software, we support the software, and we service. We go ahead and deliver services on the software. Any of our references you would tell you that the support is bar none the best they've experienced with business software. So Joe is our VP of Operations, and he's over services and development for RMB. And Ted is a longtime customer of RMB's. And so I'm eager for you to learn more about them and the solution. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. We're really excited to have you and the team really sharing some questions, thoughts, and pain points I'm sure a lot of our attendees have as well. So I'd love to take a moment here to have Ted himself briefly introduce Landoll, what they've done, and what his role is at the company.
Good morning. My name is Ted Martin, former employee. I'm retired now. 21 years with Landoll Corporation. I was a warranty and service manager whenever I retired there. I'll explain a little bit about Landoll Corporation and their history and their fast-paced growth that we had to deal with. Okay. In the beginning, 1963, Landoll purchased a welding shop, a radiator repair shop, with an individual partner. About 6 months into it, that partner decided to go ahead and move on back to the railroad. So Don bought him out, and they went ahead and started their repair process. In the beginning, they started with lick tanks, building tanks that held molasses and for livestock. Then they moved into building some old pickup stock racks. I don't know if everybody knows what those are, but it's a livestock industry. And they moved on into building trailers. Don got his first patent in the late 60s on a what is today his main design on trailers is a moving axle trailer. In the 80s, he obtained a contract with government to build de-icers. He was very strong in being diversified, meaning several different products. One's up, one's down, so it still keeps doors open. In the early 90s, he obtained a contract with a company out of Europe to build their forklift line. It was Bendy was the name of it. Shortly after that, they liked the product so well, he went ahead and purchased the product, and he went to building it on his own. In 2000, I came on board. Actually, I started in the machine shop. I'm a machinist by trade. And about 6 months into it, I was requested to come over to warranty and service. So I did. I accepted the job. And for 21 years after that, I worked in the warranty and service department. In 2003, he met with a company called Drexel, which is another forklift company. They came to our location to visit, and they was interested in purchasing our Bendy line. Well, Don ended up buying out Drexel instead of Drexel buying Don. Shortly after that, we purchased another company called Brilliant. It was a tillage, they manufactured tillage equipment. And then he purchased Icon, which is earth moving equipment. And his last acquisition was Travelong Trailer Company. So you can see from 1980 through the present day how fast he grew. Okay. Well, our biggest challenge when I started in the warranty department there, they were using a program called WC Fields. And I walked into the office that day and I looked, and there was a stack of paper warranty claims about 20 inches tall. That was my first challenge. The time-consuming warranty process when I came on board was quite ridiculous. The process that they used at that time was they would mail out a paper form to a dealer that had a warranty problem. The dealer would fill out that paper form and mail it back to us. Okay, it was almost a turnaround time of about a month to process a warranty claim. Well, when you take that long to process a warranty claim, a lot of things can happen in that amount of time. Number one, dissatisfaction. Okay. Number two, your failure rate can escalate if you can't get on top of it. Okay. The large backlog of unprocessed claims was, like I said, we had a stack of claims that were like 20 inches tall when I got there, and going through and entering all those into WC fields was very, very, very laborious. Okay. And at that time, they just had one person doing it, and I replaced that person at that time. Okay. Not long after I took over, I could see the problem there. So what I did is I developed an Excel spreadsheet form that I could email out to the dealers. The dealers could fill it in and email it back to me, which it cut the processing time down to about a week instead of a month. Okay. But we still didn't have any visibility of your field related issues, and with the fast paced growth that we had, it even made things worse. Okay.
Yeah, Ted. So this is Joe. So that was a very exciting time when we started to move into, these kind of challenges you're up. We have more of those, right? So let's go to the next slide, Jennifer, and we'll talk a little bit about some of these other challenges you had as well.
The other thing was, everybody knows administrative people are non-profit people or non-income generating people. So you really have to manage that head count, in that. With the fast-paced growth that we had to deal with, it was inevitable. Either more employees are going to need to be hired, or we need to go out and search for a program that was more innovative that in the way that we were using, rather than investing in administrative personnel. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's important to note, right, Ted, is that you really kind of get to a scale capability in terms of, are you able to scale this company without adding a whole bunch of headcount, because adding headcount has its own challenges as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the challenges that we had was in the reporting fields. In 2000, the federal government implemented what they called the TREAD Act, and they gave us 10 days to create a report for the last 10 years. Well, that immediately was quite the challenge. Okay. So that was one of the things that we was taking into consideration. We needed an instant reporting process, not only for the government reports, but for the day-to-day failures, so we could minimize the failures before they left the manufacturing facility. So we also needed to track suppliers' purchase parts performance and failures. Okay, because if you're buying purchased components and putting them on your products, it still becomes one of your products. So it's very important, that we was able to track our suppliers' products and get corrective actions on those whenever we've seen the failures.
Yeah, I agree, and absolutely, as we started to work through some of those things, so reporting became important. Some we'll see on the challenges on the next slide as well, as you tried to not only handle the go ahead. And the government requirements for reporting, but wow, now you had a lot more products in a lot more different areas, and you had to really try to get your arms around, what was causing your warranty, not just logging all this stuff. Talk a little bit about some of the reporting you did on some of the failure analysis.
Okay, some of the reportings that we had to do, we would set up in a coding process so we could analyze our top 5 failures. Okay, whether it was a manufacturing failure, whether it was operator error, or whatever, whatever the problem was, we needed to be able to bore down and analyze what these failures was, where they came from, and correct that situation as fast as we possibly could. My motto was correct it before it goes out the door, and you won't have a warranty claim. And that was the biggest problem in the beginning that we had. We had no visibility of manufacturing errors going out of the plant.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I've always been impressed with what you guys have done to really hone in on fixing any quality issues you've had, which obviously resulted in some of the results that you guys have gotten out of that, and being able to collect and analyze that data. You guys have done a marvelous job with that.
Yeah, and we developed and analyzed coding for the claims, so we could, and the incidents, so that when the calls came in, we could categorize and approach them, the most frequent type failures. Everyone knows that 20% of the cause will develop about 80% of the consequences if you're not diligent about addressing, them in a timely manner. And there's another issue at the time was the ability to monitor our state labor laws and how to maintain historical records of labor rates in our dealer network. And have information available for entering into the claims. All of the development into the processing and claims and corrective actions would drastically improve the customer satisfaction and your working relationship with them.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us right into the next part, which is the solution, right? In terms of, I remember you telling me, Joe, we really need a solution that helps to support our dealer base because they take care of our customers for us. Talk a little bit about these types of requirements that were necessary, or the solution that we have here.
Well, in 2006, we went on a search for companies that was able to provide us with everything we needed in an aftermarket support program, which led us to RMB Solutions. At that time, it was a beta program, which was really a plus to us. Okay, we needed to be able to have it developed to meet our needs and the industry's needs. Okay, we had a meeting with them and I had a short visual of how the program worked. About 10 minutes into the demonstration, I was already sold because I'd had some past history in billing databases, and it was exactly the format that we was looking for. Okay, and I asked one question: if they was going to be able to develop the program, meet all of our needs, and they said yes. So we came on board with them.
Yeah, that's great. It's been a great history for us. So as we move on to the next slide, we really, I remember you telling me, going, Joe, we have a dealer portal. We've spent a lot of time really developing this dealer portal in a way that our dealers have one place to go to get information that they need, and this warranty claims process has to fit into there. Talk a little bit about how important it was for us to be able to brand the web portal and to fit it into your dealer portal.
Well, the most important factor of the claim process in our dealer portal was the fact we had addressed everything with an exception of controlling the amount of administrative time we needed, okay, or that was required. When we RMBs developed this claim process for us and brought it on board, it was integrated with the field service management, meaning the dealer became one of our administrative people. So when they filled out the warranty claim, it automatically populated in field service management all of the data. So it took all the hand keying data transfer away from us. So therefore, it eliminated the personnel count in the process tremendously. I started out in there doing the claims myself and with Landoll. And about 3 years into the process, we hired another lady to come in and help me enter claims, because it was, well, I moved on over to service instead of claim processing, and she took over the claim processing. Once the dealer portal claim processing came into play, she has, with the amount of growth, 20 times from when I was hired on, she is still able to handle all of the claim processing as an individual.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. So as we keep moving on and we continue to go down the path of the experience you talked about earlier in terms of improved customer experience and satisfaction for your dealers, I mean, now all of a sudden you're making them your administrators, right? And so you have to make them happy, and it's got to be something that they can easily enter. On this next slide, let's talk a little bit about the ease of entry for your dealers to help make all of them administrators for you, so you could keep your staff flow.
The claim process is like, as you can see in the screenshot, very simple for them to populate the fields in there. I do, since we have this screen up, I want to talk just a little bit about a knowledge base. Okay, you can imagine you've got 3 technicians, one for each product line, and that technician's answering questions about failures, how to fix them, stuff like this. Well, that knowledge base became so important because we relied on an individual's knowledge that was stored in his head rather than someplace we can go find the answers. Okay, so the process of the symptoms, problems, and resolutions became very, very important for us. When you have a person leave the desk and another person sets in, the question comes down, I've got a problem, this is what I'm experiencing, this is the symptoms of it, what's the resolution? They can actually go into that knowledge base and get the answers for him. That's the knowledge base is updated every single day with new instances that occur. Okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And this is just one slide, a screenshot of this showing the symptom problem resolutions. But Ted, we probably should mention to the audience that this is kind of a one-page flow, right? So they don't have to navigate to different tabs to go places to keep it really simple for them. And this also includes the ability for them to enter their labor and in their parts and their expenses as well in there.
Absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm.
And as Ted mentioned earlier, this also gives, it displays to them what their labor rates are right on the portal for them. So there's less questions and debates about warranty claims. So this is great. So on the next slide, then we really kind of talk about how this kind of all comes back together in terms of hitting your goals. What was the business impact?
Well, the problem that the program solved for us, time and resolutions, and shortening due to the stored history in the knowledge base. I kind of talked a little bit about the knowledge base and stuff, and it solves the problems. It gives your technician the ability to solve the problem so much faster. You can respond. Actually, well, you got him on the phone. You don't have to go research the information in order to solve a problem because the knowledge base basically tells you what to be looking for, so to analyze the problem. And in their testing process, like I say, whenever you increase your production by 20 times over there, we didn't need to expand our headcount in service and warranty at all. Service management, I will say service management is probably the best decision that Landoll ever made.
Well, we really enjoy partnering with you on that, Ted. One more question on that is, you've obviously had a lot of different challenges and stuff over the years, and we've been working with you for a long time. Can you speak to the audience a little bit about how that works when you have a new problem? How is it working with RMB to help solve that problem?
Up until the day I retired, when we had uh, new requirements, you might say, it was very simple. Get a hold of one of the personnel at RMB, and you could start the development process. Explain to them exactly what you needed. They would develop it into the system. Like I say, the system started out, ended up being integrated with the AS400, the manufacturing facility that we used. The development of the claim process was a request by Landoll, and they developed it for us. Okay, if we have a problem or a glitch, they immediately are on it. We have very little downtime. If they do make changes, and of course they make changes for the industry, not just for Landoll. If they do make changes, they notify us on Friday. You've got till Monday to go in and test it in a test environment, make sure it's working for you, make sure everything works right. On Monday, it goes live into your live process. A lot of times we'd go live, whoops, we'd get a hold of them, they'd immediately correct the problems, the solutions, our solutions, and we was up and going. There was absolutely, I just couldn't say enough good about how fast they was at their performance.
Well, we appreciate that, Ted. It's been a great relationship with you as we've worked with you over the years. I've been in the industry for a long time, and you are always able to throw new and fun challenges our way to kind of help solve real business problems. And that's really what the partnership is all about, and why we cherish your partnership with you as we continue to work with you. So thank you so much for that partnership. We certainly appreciate it, and we're thrilled to be a part of helping to make the Landoll story a success.
Well, I sure do appreciate everything that RMB Solutions has brought to Landoll.
All right, great. Well, let's open it up for some questions that people might have and see if we can't help other people solve some problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And on behalf of GRT, thank you so much, Joe and Ted, for all the information and insight you just provided us and shared with us. I know a lot of the challenges and requirements you spoke on is very relatable to our audience, and it's so important for them to hear your perspective, your thought process, how you went about selecting the solution, how R&B Solution really helped with you and your team reduce those warranty expenses and address those challenges. So definitely thank you for sharing that as well. And we're so excited from the GR Tech team because we also work with you, Joe, and the R&B team in servicing some of our ERP customers, whether it be from Plex side or from the NetSuite customer side too. So definitely thank you for sharing that. At this time, I do see that we have some questions from our attendees. And if others have any questions during this time, feel free to use the Q&A session available to you in this webinar to communicate your questions with us. Michael, can you please go ahead and help us facilitate those questions to our team?
Yeah, of course. So to start it off, we have one to start. I believe this one would be to Joe. Actually, this would be to Ted. So was it difficult to get your dealers to switch over to the portal for claim submissions?
Actually, to tell you the truth, the dealers were tickled to death because they was getting their credits the same day they submitted the claim.
Awesome.
That's how fast the system works.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And another one too. How much internal resource was required for the implementation? I guess I'll hand that one over to Joe.
Yeah, what we really try to do is we really want all of our customers to be independently capable of running the software. And so we normally follow a train the trainer approach, which means that you find somebody internally to the organization who's going to be kind of the sponsor of the software. Ted's a great example of that. Ted really took on the software, learned how to use it, and we trained him on the administrative type functions. So he doesn't have to really call us all the time. So we really he can manage almost everything in house until he comes up with a new requirement, a new challenge he needs our help trying to solve. So that's how we implement that. And so normally you do the trainer approach. You really don't need many internal resources to do so, but you do need somebody internally to be the sponsor of the software who could then spread the wealth of knowledge and the software capabilities across the organization.
Awesome. And it looks like even for Ted, I think we kind of went over this maybe on a little more high level of an overview, but how big of an impact, was this integration?
Actually, it was kind of funny. People don't like change. Okay, that's just people. That's human nature. They don't like to try something new. So there was a long process of selling the product. Okay, selling the functionality of the product. Once they seen the time savings that they were saving in different fields, people slowly came over. And when they did get on board with service management, and I'm not talking about the warranty and claim people, I'm talking about the purchasing, quality control, the plant managers, stuff like this. Those are the people I'm talking about, and accounting even. It was difficult, to sell something to them. They've been using this for 30 years. Why do we need something new? That's human nature. Okay, so it was a challenge selling it to a lot of people outside of the warranty and service department. The people inside the warranty and service department already had the experience of doing day-to-day business, and it was like, wow, we love this. They jumped on board fast. It was getting an immediate response back. It was like amazing. So within the warranty and service department, it was a hands down.
Awesome. And were there any surprises during your implementation that maybe you had experienced?
Well, the biggest surprises was a personnel challenge. Not inside of our department, but like I said, I had some background in creating databases for the manufacturing industry. It was almost, to me, it started out being a carbon copy of what I had developed, but mine wasn't near as integrated, wasn't near as good as this was, and of course I didn't have the engineer resource and everything else that it took to develop this program like this.
Well, thank you for that. And I think, this question here, this one might be for both Joe and Ted here. Can you go ahead and give us any advice on how to set up failure codes you use to reduce the warranty expenses?
Yes, I'll answer that one of course, the way Landoll set it up, and you can set it up however you'd like. But what we did is we set up, let's just say, for instance, our coding, a claim came in. We had what was a failure? Okay, it was a hydraulic failure, was it an electrical failure, was it a structure failure? What? So that was the main thing we looked at. Okay, so you want a report on everything that was hydraulic. Okay, then the next question down is I want a report on everything that was hydraulic leaks. Okay, then you're going to want to see every component that had a hydraulic leak within a specific period of time. So your coding was set up hydraulics, cylinder, leaks, or structure, or whatever. Okay, And the other part, the coding in part of it was it TRED reportable? Okay, that's a federal report. So you could answer all these as you go through. When you process your claim, you code your claims. So you had a large, vast variety of coding that you could create your reports with. So you could really drill down into a component. Engineers, they call up and say, hey, part number such and such, how many failures we got? What was the problems with them? How frequent was they? We could get them a report in about 45 seconds.
Awesome.
That's one thing, and I'll go a little bit further here on this question. The reporting process that RMB had in the beginning was a canned report. In other words, you tell them what you wanted on a report. They'd put the report together, throw it in the program for you. You select that report number, and you run your reports. The problems that we seen as we went along, I mean, it did a good job, don't get me wrong. But the problem we seen was, here you'd have some salesman out there saying, hey, how many failures in my territory have we had on this winch motor? Okay, so that was a new report. Some of that data was not on this canned report. So RMBs came to the plate again, and they built a report, a report writer, or whatever you want to call it, where you could actually select any entity or virtually any entity within the program and create a report on it. So, so you could custom build your own reports in a matter of minutes. So that was very, very, very important to us.
And well, thank you for that, Ted. Yeah, and we got one last question here. So it looks like this one's going to be for Joe. What do you think the typical implementation timeline looks like?
Timelines always get questionable. As I mentioned earlier, when you use a train the trainer approach, it really depends on how much time that trainer can spend on it. What I usually let people know is that we can implement service management with the warranty module usually within a 6-week period of time, if not less, depending on the commitment the customer can give to the project.
So, just talking about integration, what exactly does that look like? This one's going to be for Joe.
Yeah, integration is always a factor when it comes to these types of implementations. And so what RMB has done is a very robust set of APIs that allow us to communicate with the system. We can communicate on the other side, allow us to communicate to it. So integration is certainly something we can work with. We already have some standard integrations in the certain ERP systems and so forth. So all of that's good as well. So usually with the API integrations, it makes that job a lot less tasking.
Yeah, and to speak from our partnership with you too, Joe, if there are specific integrations to cloud solutions or ERP solutions that other customers may need, I know we have some inquiries from, Plex customers or NetSuite customers and other solutions out there. GRT does have the capability for system integration as well. So that's definitely something that we keep in mind. That's why our partnership between GRT and RMB exists. Any other questions, Michael?
Nope, that'll be it for now. Thank you.
Perfect. Joe, Ted, any finishing touches or comments before we wrap this webinar up?
No, just simply thank you to everybody for attending. Hopefully you got something out of that. Feel free to contact Jennifer to start any conversations you might have if any of these things resonated with you and your organizations.
Hey, Joe, one other thing that might be kind of important, and that there's your, you might want to speak a little bit about the integration of your existing data from your existing systems, and how that can be integrated into service management.
Yeah, absolutely, Ted. So we can take, the APIs I mentioned earlier and the capabilities of those types of integrations really start to make those kind of things possible to try to get other systems to even talk to service management, which I think is what you're referring to, right, Ted?
Well, what I'm talking about is if you're using an existing program, most of the time, what we did like Drexel was using Excel spreadsheets to maintain their warranty information. When we purchased Drexel and we brought all those Excel spreadsheets in, and Greg migrated them into service management for us.
Yes, the migration data. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Those are very common when we come across organizations that, of course, you started doing something at some point in time and put data somewhere. With our templates and the way we allow the what we call migrations is being able to get data from other tools, Excel spreadsheets, Access databases, those kind of things. That way you're not having to lose your historical data. We can bring that over and start. We also try to align your historical data migration based upon how you're going to go moving forward, not in the past, so that when you do reporting, you can include that historical data in there as well as part of the implementation plan. Yes, that's very true. Thanks for bringing that up, Ted.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for taking time to listen to me. I do know one thing, service management was the best program that Landoll's could have picked.
That's really great to hear, Ted. And we so appreciate having you join us today as well and really sharing your thoughts, advice, and tips too. So thank you so much for that. If there's nothing else, I would love to give everyone else a couple minutes back. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything. Again, Ted, Joe, and all participants and audience, thank you so much. And I do hope you have a wonderful week.